So FM26 certainly seems to have grabbed people's attention for good reasons and for bad, and lots of people seem to be reporting that they're struggling to get on with the game, and for some people, understandably, that's because of the number of bugs and crashes that they're experiencing, whilst others, there's a bit of a transition period getting used to the new user interface. But over the last couple of days, I've seen a growing number of people on social media saying that it's not that they dislike the game, they're just not finding they're getting swept up in it. It doesn't seem to have the immersive qualities that previous FMs have had. So I put a little post on social media to try and find out what exactly they felt was missing. What was that X factor, that lustre that previous football managers had that users feel that the current version is missing? And today we're going to have a look at whether we can try and come up with some ways to give Football Manager that immersive feeling back again. Of course, everybody will have their own unique feelings around the game, and we should remember that this is just the beta. Things are going to change and evolve over the coming days, but head down to the comment section and let me know how you found the game so far. Are you enjoying it? Are you feeling a sense of attachment and immersion to your save? Or are you one of those people that's really struggling with the new user interface, disappointed at some of the things that have been taken out of the game? Or are you one of those people that is struggling to feel a sense of identity and attachment to the save that they've created? So the issues that people seem to be having that's preventing them becoming attached to their save or getting swept up in the story that's developing seems to be twofold. The first seems to be problems with the matches themselves, the removal of shouts, the lack of data that you are given during the games that might help you tweak or diagnose tactical changes that you should be making are not in the game anymore. And people just feel like passengers from the moment the referee blows that first whistle. We are viewers of the game rather than feeling like somebody who's standing on the touchline influencing the game. And that doesn't look like something that Sports Interactive are going to be able to address or fix in the immediate future. It might not be until FM27 that some of those things that allow people to feel more involved in the matches that they're watching start to be addressed. But the other area where people say that they are really struggling with that feeling of identity and immersion and connection with their save is that people are feeling like they're struggling to either find, absorb, or interact with the information that's available in the game that makes you feel like you are part of a footballing world. People have reported that they find themselves just clicking continue, going from one match day to the next as if they're on a conveyor belt. And whereas in previous FMs they would spend large swathes of time in between matches looking at information that's being generated by their game world, perusing other people's squads, looking at leagues around the world, seeing who the latest managers are that are under pressure or have been sacked, who other clubs are signing, what's going on in the other lower leagues of the nations that you've loaded up. People find that they're not getting access to that information. So maybe we can't do anything in this video to improve people's in-match experience. That one is down to Sports Interactive. But there's a couple of things that I've done in my game to try and give me a little bit of greater immersion into the game world that FM26 has created. So firstly, let's have a look at how we could try and start to develop a greater connection to the club that we're managing. And the page in the game that really helps me with that is the club site, which brings up all of these different panes, each presenting a different element of information about the club that you are managing. So if you want that basic information about the profile of the club, well, you can click on the About Club page, and even the club profile has its own pop out that gives you some of that information that we used to see on the facilities page or the club information page in FM24. You've got panes there that can take you directly to your squad, and if it's not the first team squad that you want to go to, but the under 21s or the under 18s, this actually is quite intuitive to me. It gives you quite a logical flow of panels that you might want to click on and use in between games in your save. You can do the same for the staff, and this will give you easy access to things like your coaching assignments, a staple for me every maybe 6 months or so when I was playing FM24. But you've got other useful quick screens that you can access here as well, such as all the competitions that your club's participating in. You can get your league tables from here, start to try and find information about the players in those leagues, the top average ratings, the top scorers in the division and things like that. as well as having some other little bits of information that you can access from that club site, such as your latest fixtures and information about your transfer history as well. Now, a lot of these screens are quite blank in my game at the moment because we're in day one of a brand new save, but as the weeks and months tick by and more data is generated in game, there's some really rich information here that just help you get under the hood of what's going on inside your club, both in the men's and the women's section, even if you're only managing in one of those. So in terms of allowing people to feel a little bit more involved in the day-to-day goings on at their clubs, I think this club site, which acts a little bit like a hub for everything that's going on inside the club, is a vital page to try and make the centre of your time in between the matches. But in terms of the wider game world and the page that helps me feel connected to the game, that helps me follow the stories that are evolving in my Football Manager save, helps me find information about all the tournaments that maybe I'm not competing in, but perhaps I'm interested in or that I aspire for my club to reach one day, and allows me to see what's going on in other countries or leagues that I might have loaded up. Well, that screen is available on the portal and it's See All News. Now, again, I'm in the very first day of a brand new save in this club, so a lot of the information looks a little bit bland, but if I load up my save that I'm doing on Twitch currently, where I've already started the season with Birmingham City, well, this screen is packed now with information that helps connect me with the game world that is evolving, that's personal to my save. First of all, we have the home page, or the For You page, which is largely centered around the English Championship, the division that my club is in. It has some articles about games that have been played by other clubs. It's also got today's top fixtures, so you can see how other teams have been performing. You can easily click and see the league table there, although, as other people have noted, it's quite annoying that there's a lot of dead space around this screen, and you've got to scroll down to see the full table when there really was enough room to be able to see all of it on the screen. Down here, you've got a bit of a news feed about different articles that are going on in the division that you're managing, and this certainly helps me get a better perspective of everything that's going on in the league that I'm managing. But you can also go to the leagues above you or to the leagues below you, and you'll get similar pages about all of those leagues. So in between games, this is where you can spend your time finding the articles, keeping up to date, reading the information about the game world that's being built in your save, so that you can see who are the players that are performing on a weekly basis. Now, would it be great if there was even more information at your fingertips here? Would I like to be able to click on League One and instantly be able to see the top scorers, the top average ratings, information to do with the managers a little bit more? Yes, I would. But if you go into the League One page in a little bit more detail, well, look, you can start to find that information about the players, the transfers, and things like that. But the other area of this homepage that I really like is the Around the World page. This is where you'll find information about not just other leagues in the continent that you're managing, but global competitions. So if you want to keep an eye on what's happening with the big teams in other parts of the world, then this is the area of the portal where it seems to work really well. You can even click this little drop-down menu and go to other nations that you might have loaded, continents in the game, different competitions. And from there, you can find all of the information that you might want to try and stay a little bit more in tune and up to date with what's going on in your game world. Now, I'm not here to defend the game. I'm certainly not trying to convince everybody that FM26 can be as immersive as previous versions of the game that they might have enjoyed. All I'm saying is that for me, I felt that sense of detachment too when I first started playing FM26. Even as I started to get more used to the user interface, I still found myself just clicking continue, trying to get from one match day to the other, and not really getting immersed or involved in what was going on either at my club or in the wider game world. And these two screens definitely help. I think the other thing to add is that these two screens are both bookmarkable as well. So you can add your club site page and the news site to your bookmarks, so that whenever you come back to this landing portal, you've got these two buttons here that will take you instantly to the two areas of the game that I feel have the richest data, the most information that help me to get a little bit more involved in the game.